evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Diego Dario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Z Herbato. Watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Just when we thought things couldn't get any hotter in the UAAP Women's Basketball Tournament, think again. The NU Lady Bulldogs may have advanced into the finals matchup, but they are still waiting for their contender as the UP Fighting Maroons force a rubber match. Game number 2 against the UST Growling Tigresses after today's overtime thriller. And of course, joining us to break down all the action is UAAP basketball analyst Danica Jose. Welcome back to the game, Idol. UAAP legend, by the way. UAAP legend. So Danica, let's talk about the NU Ateneo matchup first before we move on to that UP UST crazy second game of today's Final Four. But for NU, you know, they really asserted their dominance today against Ateneo.
That's right. NU was really showed an all-around performance against Ateneo this morning. They really asserted dominance, not to mention that they had that championship experience. They really showed it. And of course, it's not only led by one player, which makes NU very dangerous because 12 players actually scored in the game earlier. Wow. So that says a lot about the character of this team.
How important is this for a team like the NU Lady Bulldogs, who's already gunning for their 8th championship?
Wow. Yeah, you know, knowing Coach Aris, I'm sure that he wants to bag another championship with the NU team. He's trying to build a program around this new team. A lot of young guns. I think there were 6-7 rookies in his team right now. So even if they're such a young team, they really showed a lot of dominance, strength, and really willpower in showing that we're still at the top. We're still a very dangerous team. And definitely a team to watch out for.
Right. You know, sometimes we forget that, you know, they're still the defending champions.
Yes.
And they're also, you know, even if there's no sweep, last year walang sweep, this year walang sweep, but NU is still the team to beat. They're the #1 team for a reason. They had 42 starter points compared to 43 of Ateneo. Pero yung bench points nila made the difference. 16 bench points for NU. Ateneo had none. Talk about that in terms of the depth of NU.
Yeah, you know that NU has a really deep bench, like what we mentioned. 12 players scored in today's game. So in terms of the rotation of Coach Aris, he doesn't necessarily have to rely on his first 5. So at least there's a lot of fresh legs whenever they do the press. On the defensive end, laging mapapalitan. The level of intensity and energy that these teams have, especially for NU, really shows a lot, especially for crucial games like this.
Pero syempre, NU, you know, although they won that game, there was a special moment after the game also for an Atenean. Jasmine Hoson, you both are Ateneans. She had a very great, I guess, gesture from the UAP community, the women's community as well, as she made her final appearance as a Blue Eagle.
That's right, Jasmine Hoson, one of the key leaders, and of course the team captain of Coach L.A. Mumar's team. And of course, Jasmine Hoson, of course, definitely had a wonderful UAAP career. She led the team not just in scoring, but of course for creating for her teammates, orchestrating the offense. So Jas really had an amazing basketball career. She actually led the assist department in the UAAP this season. So it really says a lot about her leadership for the team.
Beautiful gesture. They circled around her. Even the NU team circled around her.
Correct.
So.
That's why. Very sportsmanship. It's something we love to see, definitely, on the court. But let's move over to the other matchup that everybody was like dying for, screaming for, the UST-UP match.
Wow. I was watching that game earlier, and for UP to actually catch up in the second half, they were down by as much as 20 points in the first half. And for UP to limit UST to only 9 points in the third quarter, that was really an amazing performance from this young team. And they really showed how much they want to be part of the Final Four. The last time that UP was part of the Final Four was back in 2008. So that was 15 years ago. So just imagine the historical achievement that this team was able to show in season 86.
I mean, are we even surprised that this UP-UST matchup became a historic game like this one? A beautiful comeback, went to overtime. Kasi nung round 1 and round 2, they also had close matchups.
Close
Also in
player.
overtime, 73-69 in the first round, and then 74-72 in the second round. So when you talk about UP coming back in this game, how did they do it? Because, sometimes in the Final Four, when you're down 20, sometimes, tas twice to beat pa ang UST.
I think it took a lot of heart and, of course, the willpower to actually not give up on every play. Because you know that UST, they're actually the #1 offensive team in the league. They average 88 points per game. They're actually #1 as well in fast breaks, in converting turnovers to scoring opportunities. They're #1 in points in the paint as well, in 3 points. So you know that this is a solid team, this UST team. But for UP to actually rattle them a bit in the third quarter, they had a much tighter defense. They were smothering them in every possession. It actually gave UST like a realization na, oh, grabe, parang ang bilis, dumidikit na yung UP, diba? Na parang nakita nila 9 points lang yung na-score ng UST in the third quarter. And then parang in every possession, they were trying to execute their system. They were playing like a solid unit. So props to UP. They played one heck of a game today.
So I was telling you earlier off air na parang, it has been the recurring theme every time that we talk about women's basketball here at the game na UP talaga, like, abangan niyo yan, Final Four. And now that they're here, do you think it's still surprising people how, after 15 years, this squad made it to the top 4. And once they made it, they pushed the game this intense and then forced another game, a do-or-die game.
I think it also says a lot about their character as a team. The culture that Coach Paul Ramos is trying to instill in these...
Naging coach mo rin, of
Yes.
course.
In high school and college. So I would really know how inspiring Coach Paul's words are, especially before the game. He would constantly remind these players why they're here, their passion, their purpose, and everything. So for this team to have like a solid foundation as early as now, talagang it would take you in the long run, as in here in the Final Four, you extended another game against a UST. So I'm very excited to see what's in store for Saturday's game.
So you talked about Coach Paul, but let's talk about the players. Grabe. Favor Ono with a record-breaking 30 rebounds. I think the most, even in men's, 30 rebounds
That's
si
a lot.
Favor Ono.
That's a lot.
Since it was computerized yung stats natin dito sa UAAP. So let's talk about her and of course Luna Ozar. And yung mga standouts din ng UST because you will never know what's gonna happen in Game 2 of this Final Four match.
That's right. We know that the season has been a whirlwind of sorts. Diba? There was a lot of twists and turns, overtimes, close game, down by 20, and then they end up winning the game. So Favor Ono, actually, it's her birthday today. So it's
birthday
definitely
game.
a birthday
On cue.
game for
Yes.
Favor Ono for breaking out with 30 rebounds, 14
That's crazy.
points. But another player that is worth highlighting is Luna Ozar. Rookie star of
Amazing.
UP.
Yes.
She actually had 25 points, but what's crucial about Luna's game was that she scored 7 points in overtime. So that was really critical for UP to actually talagang lumayo na talaga sila to pull away against UST.
And quickly, yung UST, Kent Pastrana, of course, finished with 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. So expect her to also lead the way for UST in the next game.
Definitely. Thank you, Danica, for sharing your time and insights with us today. Kaya napaka-excited na kami para panoorin sa Sabado. Do or die.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Danica.
thank you, Danica.
Thank you.
All right, after the break, we'll shift to the PVL as we talk about the matchups you should watch out for. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back. You're still watching the game. The PVL All-Filipino Conference has had some heart-stopping games with teams and players proving to be great matchups on court. Now here to give us a breakdown of who to look out for as they go all out is volleyball analyst Mela Tunay, of course, together with Z Hervasio.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Tita
Z.
Mel.
Hi,
Magandang
Diego.
gabi.
Hello.
Are you
For
excited?
the presenter.
Yes. All right, tonight we're going to be talking about the team matchup that everybody's waiting for. Choco Mucho versus Cherry Tigo crossovers. Can you tell us about, their strengths, their weaknesses, the stuff that we should look out for?
Well, actually, if you take a look at the standings, makikita mo na tied sila at number 2. They have the same number of quotients, same win-loss record, and even yung mga team rankings natin, sobrang magkakalapit lang sila dyan. I think they're around it's either 1 or basta between 1 to 3 lang yung difference sila in the departments, except for blocking where Cherry is at an advantage. They're at 5th in that department at yung Choco Mucho naman is at 8th. But the rest, sobrang dikitan lang talaga. That's why everyone's really looking forward to this matchup, especially because Diego also mentioned na ang dami ng mga heart-stopping games sa PVL. And
definitely.
The one that happened yesterday, Signal versus Cherry Tigo, is definitely one of them.
Can you for sure tell everybody that, parang they're a well-oiled machine at this point in the eliminations. That's why they have this record. That's why everybody's excited for their game.
Well, looking at the intangibles, both teams kasi talaga they improved eh. I mean,
Correct.
we see different players inside the court now compared to yung mga core nila before. Of course, Cherry, kilala sila during the Jaja Dindin era. And
Yes.
Choco Mucho naman, syempre, andyan pa yung sila Ponggay na nasa Cherry Tigo na now. They were in
Correct.
Choco Mucho before. But now, the players are younger, but definitely more matured in playing, as you see Aya Laure just exploding with MVP numbers. And since we're talking about their matchup, talagang excited din makita yung mga ganong paglalaban ng mga power spikers. Of course, when we talk about Choco Mucho, dito sa new era, we see CC Rondina there leading the charge for them. And on the other side naman, si Aya Laure for Cherry Tigo. So I think those two will be the frontliners for this matchup.
In this matchup alone, talking about their skills as a team, anong sa tingin mo yung maha-highlight pag nagharap na talaga sila?
Well, for me personally, I feel like, apart from the stats, the number 2 sa attacking, itong Choco Mucho, I honestly feel like they have more options. And even from the bench, Caitlin Viray, very explosive. I think she's proven her spot in the Choco Mucho starting 6, last invitationals pa. But now it's been a shuffle between her and Kat Tolentino. Pero kahit sinong ipasok, ang ganda ng bunot eh. And I think advantage din sila in terms of the middle game. Although in Cherry's defense, ang ganda ng nilaro ni Zarina Carandang against Signal. And Signal kilala din yan na may magagaling na middles in Meneses and Doria. So I think kung makasabay si Cherry in that middle game department, it will be a really intense matchup.
Can you say that despite all these numbers that we see, na parang in a way match sila kasi number 2 in spiking, pero pagtingin mo sa blocking, sa digging, dun naman tumatapat si Cherry Tigo?
Well, match talaga. I guess, yung storyline pareho eh. Meron silang dalawang Girl on Fire. Girl on Fire. Meron silang dalawang go-to player. Magkakatalo din talaga sa support. And so far, the trend for Choco Mucho, mas well-balanced lang yung support. Kasi nga yung middles nila, constant double-digit scorers. Pero for Cherry naman, of course, Mama P is healthier now.
Correct.
Ang ganda rin na naging numbers niya against Signal. So I think it's really more on the support for CC and Aya.
Alright, speaking of CC and Aya, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Player matchup naman tayo ngayon. So, you mentioned to us, players to look out for, definitely for Choco Mucho, it's gonna be CC Rodina and Aya Laure for Cherry Tigo.
Well, nakakilig lang sila tignan, no? Kasi,
kilala mo tong mga to.
We saw them fighting for the same team when they were in UAAP. A lot of storylines, a lot of history between these two highly talented players. Pero now, dito sa PVL, sila pa rin yung magtatagpo sa taas. And when we talk about sa taas, talagang palitan sila sa stats. I mean, in scoring, 3rd and 4th, in spiking 3rd and 4th, and even in other departments, they are also present. So si Aya, I think, is number 1 in serving also. And it's very timely kasi yesterday, nung 5th set against Signal, they were down or nasa match point na si Signal, but she did end that match with an ace. So very fitting for her as the top server this conference. And ito namang si CC, I think he's also in the the top diggers right now. So definitely MVP numbers for these two, and if Aya Laura naman continues with that kind of performance, I think she could potentially be the first rookie MVP for PBL. So, tignan natin yung mga ganyang storyline.
So, kilalang-kilala mga to, mga tigresses in their own right. But despite all the numbers, despite all that we saw on the screen, like what can you tell us na we should be excited about for this match?
Well, kasi apart from their numbers, I think the volleyball fans here in the Philippines really know these players because of their character.
Right.
And I mean, ito
totoo.
pa, both these teams through the years, sobrang talented ng lineup nila on paper. Cherry Tigo has had Paat for the longest time.
Right.
EJ Laure, and galing pa dyan si Dindin. Choco Mucho naman, nandyan the likes of Bayadel,
Right.
Maddie, of course. Alam mo yun, yung talent on paper, laging nandun eh. But they added these two in their lineup. Kinikilabutan ako. They added these two in their lineup, and it changed things for them big time. Imagine, nag-aagawan sila sa number 2 slot, diba? So, apart from, we know how good they play, how powerful they are as players, and all, both all-around players, but their character is really the most important thing we should watch out for in their matchup.
All right. Tita Mels, I gotta ask you, meron bang pinapanigan yung puso mo?
Wala. Petrogas.
Sa matchup na to.
Ang nanalo pa rin sa puso ko ay
Salamat,
Sinang
salamat,
Aisa.
salamat,
Sinang Aisa
salamat,
pala.
But okay, this match will be happening soon. Is there any other thing that, na pwede nating abangan sa laban na to? Kasi, yan, I'm sure may mga stare downs na magaganap, may mga dramatic sequences tayong mawitness in this match.
Well, those are always an additional, no? But I
Okay.
guess since on the technical side, we were talking about yung support na kailangan ng kanilang mga go-to players, talking about Aya and CC. Well, ito nga yung kanilang best tandem, no? Cez Robles, at least in their last game against Signal, siya yung naging ka-best tandem ni Aya with 18 points off the bench.
Wow.
And Isa Molde naman, I believe back-to-back POG honors for her in the Choco Mucho games. She's been one of the best supports to CC Rondina. So, for Aya, actually, nagkakatalo lang sa game eh. Siya yung pinaka-consistent, pero
Right.
yung second top scorer sa kanya minsan, it's
really
EJ.
the support, no?
Yes, so it really matters. So, tignan natin if may ibang magpapakilala ba, kung may mga magic bullets ba sila. Kasi sa Choco Mucho yan ang
Meron
marami.
Correct,
diba?
correct.
So, ang daming aabangan talaga dito sa Choco Mucho versus Cherry Tigo.
All right, can't be excited enough, Tita Mels. Maraming salamat for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, throwing it back to you, Jegs.
Wow, just listening to these girls talk about that matchup, excited na ako just to watch that game. But don't go away, more sports stories after the break. Keep it here, you're watching The Game. Welcome back, you're still watching The Game. 2K fans are still on a high after the success of the 2023 NBA 2K APAC Invitational. The event was presented by Signal and was held in Manila last week. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from its first ever staging in the country.
We're very excited kasi we're not only carrying the NBA games but also now the NBA 2K League as well. Right? So it's the esports arm of the NBA. Itong partnership natin with the NBA 2K League is another way that we're supporting that growing community of esports athletes in the country. And I truly believe, and we at Signal truly believe that esports is really a field where Filipino youth can really excel. So all out ang support natin dyan.
You have draft eligibility on the line. So you have $5,000 US dollars, but ultimately the real excitement is that there's going to be 5 draft eligible spots for the winning team. And so for many of these players, like this is their opportunity to really have the chance to compete with the best in the world. People are locked in watching all of the games, and I just feel like this has taken, I think, our excitement with the market to the next level because we see how much opportunity there is here.
It means a lot. Parang ito yung mga event na pinakahihintay namin sa Tunay community. Siyempre, first time to na held sa Pilipinas. So yun, matagal na namin itong hinihintay. Actually, malaking impact talaga sa Tunay community, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi alam ko, nandito lahat yung marami tayong talented players. So yun, may madraft man dito sa ating mga Pinoy. Yun, magpipavoy na yun. Tuloy-tuloy na to.
It gives the spotlight to the Filipinos here in Manila. So it's about time that the world know about our talent and the APAC region. It's not just the Philippines, but it's the Indonesian team, the Chinese teams, and the APAC teams, ANZ teams. The 2K League event and the FIBA event are two separate big events for me, and I think that both are must-win for me because I'm trying to achieve my dreams and be drafted in the 2K League. And prove to the world that the Philippines is a top country, if not the best, if one of the best countries in the world. So shout out to the NBA 2K League for hosting such a big event for the Filipinos here in Manila.
Well, that's it for tonight. You can catch our show live and on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
I'm Diego Dorio, and this has been The Game.